The rain had been falling for hours, a relentless drizzle that turned the streets into slick mirrors reflecting the dim glow of streetlights. I sat on the small bench outside the cafe, hands wrapped around a lukewarm cup of tea, staring blankly at the puddles forming at my feet. Every droplet seemed to echo the ache inside me, a quiet, hollow ache that no words could fill. I should have been happy. Just a week ago, everything had seemed perfect. I had been in love, truly, completely, foolishly in love with Daniel. His laugh, warm and bright, had always had the power to dissolve every fear, every shadow of doubt in my heart. I had believed that love could conquer anything. But love, I was learning painfully, was not enough. It had started months ago, subtle at first. His mother, Mrs. Caro, had never been fond of me. I tried to ignore it, convincing myself it was because I was new to their lives, because some mothers were difficult, because Daniel loved me and that was all that mattered. But her disdain was a constant shadow, a quiet judgment that always hovered behind her polite smiles. Every visit to their house felt like stepping into a battlefield where I had no armor, no shield, just a fragile hope that one day she would accept me. Daniel had tried. God, how he had tried. He would hold my hand tightly in the car as we drove to her house, whispering, "It's fine, Janny. Don't let her get to you." But her words, the coldness in her tone, and the disapproving glances she cast my way had begun to erode something inside him too. I could see it in his eyes, the conflict between love for me and loyalty to his mother. I remembered the day it became unbearable. We had gone to her house for dinner, a small, intimate gathering that was supposed to be harmless. But from the moment I stepped inside, I felt her scrutiny like a physical weight pressing down on my chest. "You're wearing that?" she had asked, arching a perfectly shaped eyebrow. "It's very bold." I had forced a smile, telling myself to be polite. "Yes, I thought it would be nice for dinner." Her eyes didn't leave me. They were cold, calculating, like she was dissecting every flaw she imagined in me. Daniel had sensed my discomfort immediately, his hand finding mine under the table, squeezing it reassuringly. "You're overthinking it," he murmured softly. But I wasn't. The conversation had been strained, polite only in the surface way people are polite when they're trying not to say something cruel. Her comments, always cloaked in concern or advice, carried an undercurrent of judgment. I tried to laugh, to make light of her criticisms, but with every word, I felt myself shrinking, becoming smaller, more invisible. After dinner, in the quiet of the car ride home, Daniel had been unusually silent. I had dared to hope he was just tired, but then I saw it, the tension in his jaw, the sorrow in his eyes. "Janny," he began hesitantly, his voice tight. I don't know how much longer I can do this." My heart had stopped. "Do what?" I whispered, fear curling in my stomach. "This. Us, dealing with her. I can't make her like you. I've tried, I've argued, I've defended you, but," he trailed off, shaking his head. His hands gripped the steering wheel as if trying to anchor himself. "But I thought, we loved each other," I said, my voice trembling. "We do," he said quickly, almost desperately. "I love you more than anything, but she doesn't. And I can't keep fighting her forever. I can't. I can't hurt her, and I can't hurt you. But maybe," he swallowed hard, "maybe we're just not meant to be." I felt my chest tighten, the walls of my world crumbling around me. The rain outside seemed to intensify, drumming on the roof like a funeral march. "Not meant to be?" I repeated, my voice barely above a whisper. "After everything?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached over and took my hand in his thumb stroking my knuckles in a gesture that once would have been comforting but now felt unbearably painful. "I can't fight my mother and my heart at the same time," he admitted finally, his voice breaking. "I love you, Janny. I always will. But I have to choose." The words struck me like a physical blow. I had known this day might come, had feared it in the quiet moments when I lay awake at night, but hearing it, seeing him so torn, broke me in ways I couldn't name. I pulled my hand away slowly, as if afraid that holding it would make it all too real. "So this is it?" I asked, my voice cracking. He nodded, unable to meet my gaze. "I'm so sorry." I laughed, a bitter, hollow sound. "Sorry?" I whispered. "Do you even know what that word means right now?" He reached out again, but I recoiled. The space between us felt infinite, filled with all the love that had once been ours, now suffocating in its impossibility. That night, I walked home in the rain, letting the water wash over me as if it could cleanse the pain, though it only mirrored it. Every step was heavy, every breath sharp with grief. I thought of the future I had imagined with him. Quiet mornings in a small apartment, laughter echoing through our home, dreams shared in whispered confessions late at night. All of it was gone, shattered by a force I could neither fight nor change. The days that followed were a blur of tears, sleepless nights, and memories that clung to me like shadows. I saw him everywhere, in the coffee shop where we had shared our first date, in the bookstore where he had insisted. I choose every novel, in the little park bench where we had once planned our lives together. Every corner of my world was haunted by what had been, and what could never be again. Daniel tried to reach out, sending messages that went unanswered, leaving flowers at my door that I didn't touch. I couldn't bear to see him, couldn't bear to hear his voice. It hurt too much, knowing that the person I loved most in the world had chosen someone else, or perhaps more accurately, had chosen the life he thought he was supposed to have. Weeks passed, and the ache in my chest became a dull, persistent throb. Friends tried to console me, offering clichés about time healing wounds and love finding a way. But I couldn't imagine loving anyone else. Not now, not ever. My heart had been marked by a love that had burned too brightly to be contained, only to be extinguished by circumstances I could not control. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky bled red and gold, I found myself walking past the cafe where it had all begun. Daniel sat at our usual table, alone, staring out the window at the world as if he were searching for something he could never find. Our eyes met briefly, and in that instant, I felt the weight of every unspoken word, every lost hope. He smiled faintly, a shadow of the warmth I had once adored, and I knew in the deepest part of me, that we were both mourning the same loss, though we would grieve it separately. I turned and walked away, letting the tears fall freely, the wind carrying them into the approaching night. There was no reconciliation, no hope of rekindling what had been lost. Only the memory of love, intense and impossible, and the quiet, heartbreaking knowledge that sometimes, love simply isn't enough. Years later, I would remember him in the soft light of morning, in the laughter of strangers that sounded like his, in the way the rain drummed on the pavement, echoing the rhythm of my broken heart. And I would realize, with both sorrow and strange gratitude, that some loves are meant to be remembered, not lived, treasured in memory, mourned in silence, and left behind like footprints in the sand, washed away by tides we cannot command.